Thank you.
What is it about the music we make that makes it the music of yesterday, today, and forever? Maybe the today is a result of the yesterday spent in wooden churches. Singing the praises of making joyous harmony. And part of it has to be the songs we sing, working under the blazing sun to pass the hard times. Yesterday was also bittersweet. Some gospel choirs, slavery, folk songs, bojangles, echolotas. What about those red parties, huh? Remember those? Yesterday was hot. Yesterday was hurting. And yesterday was the birthplace of today. You know, today is 25 years of climbing and building and opening doors and breaking old rules. Today is also love songs. And guy and girl songs and songs of protest and anger. Songs of gentleness and songs of wounds left unattended for far too long. It's songs to dance to.
Hi. Welcome to On the Scene with Patricia McDougall, celebrity photographer, and my co-host Chintana. And we have also a special guest, Chintana.
Miss Boothe, Miss Jazz Boothe, with the final salute and the founder of Miss Veterans America. Thank you for coming, Jazz.
Hey, yeah, Jazz. Thank you for coming. Awesome. We're excited that you're here today. So we have a lot going on today.
You've been busy this week.
Oh my God,
I
goodness.
heard that.
Yes.
So what's going on this week?
What is going on this week? What is not going on this week? A lot going on this week. But I just want to share. Even though I didn't really talk about that, but I had some pictures there that I just kind of dropped there, and it shows when they actually had the March on Washington in D.C. And so I was showing some footage that I had from when they had the march. So I don't know if we can show those pictures there. They're just in the queue. But anyway, so you'll see Stevie Wonder in the picture and a couple of other celebs who was actually on the march. And because we have so much going on in, now, we want to kind of talk about that a little bit. However, we're going to have our guests talk a little more further into the program, right? But we want to give a heartful warmth for the family who have been affected by all of the tragics that's been happening in and around the U.S. and also, I guess, would be abroad, right? You'd say.
Absolutely. I mean, the shooting happened here in America. We feel sorry for with the Dallas shooting as well as the family that were lost in Minnesota.
Right.
And Louisiana. So our condolences to the family.
Yes, we definitely want to give our condolences to all the family who are affected and all the things and also the police officers that have been shot. I mean, we have to say that as well because there's a lot going on with that as well. So my heartful condolences.
Yeah. So I think this is almost like the time that we have to actually come together.
Yes.
You know, my grandpa always said that hate cannot heal hate.
Right.
Only love can. So this is a time that we have to come together and recognize how can we unite together? How come the police side as well as civil side can talk together?
That is right.
Yeah, you know, when any loss of life occurs, there's no victory regardless of what side you're standing on.
Right.
You know, because they all have families that they want to go home to. They all have children that want their parents to come home to them. So, you know, whether you're for this or for that, any life that is lost is no more important than the others.
Yes, and you're absolutely correct, especially with youth. Jazz, if you know Jazz in DMV here, she does a lot of fundraising to help retire as well as all the women that serve our country.
Wow.
So I would like Jazz to share a little bit more about her journey.
Yes.
She have been on Oprah talking about the journey, has helped and served some of the housing for the retired veterans in America who have served our country.
Wow. But before we talk with Jazz, we're going to show just a few pictures, if you don't mind, Jazz. Just give us a few minutes. So we want to just talk about the youth first because there's so much going on. And we're going to talk about STEM, Girls Inc. Leah, she participated in a STEM program on Capitol Hill. So we have to keep our kids involved. As you can see, that was on Congress. And that's water Leah has in her hands, even though she thinks she's drinking something. But anyway, so they were actually playing basketball, had a lot of sponsors, and she actually got that ball in there. Can you see? There's potential.
She played college basketball, so I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to take her off for a little bit.
Yeah. There's my girl Lisa in the house representing. So we had to show some pictures of STEM, and they actually opened it up to the floor, and they had all different types of things. I mean, Leah would be here. I would love for her to tell us a little bit about what she thought about it, but I know she's not going to come, on the show right now. But we'll follow us on social media, and we'll be happy to tell you a little bit more about it. But we had a lot of political Congress women in the room, and so as you can see from the pictures, they represented well. It was very nice. We were actually invited by Girls Inc., so we really appreciate that and give a shout out to Girls Inc. for actually inviting us to the program.
I like that that's such very positive that there are women that are surrounded around young girls and ladies that are surrounded by women who are positive and being impactful in a community. Because when the new Barbie came out, I was like, it did nothing for me because girls shouldn't be choosing to emulate plastic dolls. They should be choosing to emulate and want to be like the powerful female role models in our community. So I'm always glad to see when events like that are put together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done.
So I just wanted to share that briefly, but moving right along, so shout out to Girls Inc. and also to STEM and also for Congress for actually hosting them there in Congress. So I just want to put a few pictures. Prophet Marcus Thomas is going to be in town, and he's actually going to be here today in D.C., and Dr. DK, it's a possibility he might be calling in. So he's a Prophet Marcus Thomas, and he's going to be here all week, and he's visiting the Washington, D.C. area. So if you're interested and you want to actually participate in the programs, he will be here. He's actually going to be here today at Sunday at 6 o'clock, and he's going to be at I guess it's 2002 14th Street, Southeast Washington, D.C. So you could just go visit his website and you'll be able to find additional information there. So, and I will show the flyer later as well. Dr. DK, he was awarded, I want to talk about that a little bit. It's photo number 6. On the 4th of July, this was last week, Generation 12 Global Reformers. He was actually awarded, and he's doing so much. I mean, that was a day of prayer. So they actually had a lot of political congressmen, different various, personnel there, and they actually came out and honored the military men as well. And Dr. DK happened to be one that they actually honored him. So I just want to give a shout out to Dr. DK for being honored. It's called the Generation 12 Global Reformers, and it was a wonderful event. We had breakfast followed by lunch after that as well. So congratulations, Dr. DK, on a job well done. Second, we want to talk about, now we're going to talk a little bit about Miss Jazz. Now we're going to come back to that. Yes, I wanted to keep it in the program, right?
Oh, it's
So
okay.
tell us, Jazz, yes, a little bit about you.
Well, I started in the Army for 16 years. I reached the rank of major. My oldest son serves in the Air Force. I'm married to a Marine, and I also have a six-year-old son. So the organization that I started is called Final Salute Inc., which provides housing and other resources to homeless women veterans and their children. And that organization stemmed from my own experience that I had with homelessness due to Hurricane Katrina and a cancer diagnosis when I was headed to Iraq.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's. I think when I heard the story, it's very heartfelt. You bounce back, not just not a victim, but a survivor, and then you empower other women. You empower veteran women to really be able to have the shelter and empower them to move towards the next career that they need to be on.
Yeah, women veterans have been a long forgotten population and segment of the military, but have contributed immensely to our country and other countries. So it's important that when they come back, if they should find themselves on hard times, that they they receive the same resources as our brothers do. And and being for women veterans doesn't mean that I'm against male veterans, because obviously I'm married to one and I birthed one. And I think that's one of the things in our country now is if you're for something, then you have to be against another thing. But it's not that. It's just my personal experience led me down this path to want to help other women veterans that had experienced the same thing that I did.
That's fantastic.
Wow, that's awesome.
We need more of you, Jazz. We need more of the pride, that kind of the services and empower.
I need more of me. If I could have an extra one of me.
Oh, I'm with you on
I
that.
could do so much more.
I'm all for that, right?
and not just that, Jazz, you also start this empower some of our women veterans to just embrace their beauty inside out. And you start Miss Veterans America a couple of years ago. Now it's gone viral. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so the Miss Veteran America competition is an event that I use and I created to raise awareness to the rising numbers of homeless women veterans, but I didn't want to do it in a way that portrayed us as damsels in distress. When you see military men or people talk about them, they're the war fighters, they're strong. And there's nothing wrong with being a war fighter, being strong, but we're also women, so we're also beautiful. We're women, we're mothers, we're wives, sisters. And so I wanted to also bring that aspect into it. When you're in uniform, you have to pull your hair back, no makeup and all those types of things. And that's perfectly fine. But we're still women and we want to be beautiful, and it's okay to embrace that. So for one night annually in October, we all come together and get quote unquote gussied up and just enjoy our femininity and our sisterhood that we've shared throughout our military service.
Yeah, definitely, Pat. You got to be honest in this one. It's this beautiful event. It's heartfelt. There's no dry tear at that event.
Yes.
So what's next, Jazz? What's next for you?
I don't really know. It's just I kind of take I consider what I'm doing my mission and my calling from God. So it's wherever else He leads me next, wherever else He calls me next. So right now, He wants me to focus on my mission of supporting women veterans and their children. And so until that issue is solved, nationally, and there are no veterans homeless and no veterans in needs, that's what's going to continue to be my focus from this point.
That's wonderful.
Wow, that's awesome. You're just doing some amazing things. I tell you.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. We're excited that you're here with us, joining us on the show today.
Well, thank you. It's great to be able to come to DC and not fight traffic. So I love it that it was on Sunday.
It was smooth ride today, isn't it?
There was no Hans honking on my way here. So.
And there are protests going on today, but it's a peaceful protest. Have you guys heard about that today?
I didn't hear about it today.
Yeah, so I heard it was a peaceful protest going on, and some going on in New York concerning the current situation about Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
So I want to ask both of you ladies, though, since you were born and raised here in America, what's your thought about the current situation?
Well, I'm not born in America. I'm actually born in Belize.
Okay.
But I am an American, and I'm proud to be an American as well
Right.
as proud to be an Belizean as well. And so my thoughts are that all the stuff that's going on, it has to stop. I mean, I don't know. They just got to find a way for it to or come to some kind of understanding, right? So we can all get along. That's why I kept playing all these songs, you know, and I showed the video earlier about, you know, let's get along. You know, what's going on? So that song, What's Going On, what is going on? You know, we have to make this world a better place. You know, Michael Jackson sang that, right, with the group. Remember, let's make this world a better place. So we have to try to find a good place for it.
Yeah, you know, it definitely, you know, like I said, I'm the mother of two black males. I'm married to a black male, so obviously, you know, I care, you know, because it affects my demographic. And, you know, saying that, of course, Black Lives Matter and other lives matter too, you know, military lives matter. But it's, again, when you're seeing an injustice on one particular race, you have to address it. And you can't pretend that it doesn't exist. You know, and so I think that's the biggest thing is, you know, we have to, as a country, you know, all get on board and say, you know what, yes, this is a problem. Right. You know, the police department has to say, yes, this is a problem. You know, it may only be 2 or 3 bad cops in your division, but if you need to address it as an entire division, you know, it's no different when the military realized that it had a rape problem.
That's correct.
You
You
know,
brought up a very good point earlier when we were talking.
They said, you know what, we do have a problem with military rape, and now we need to address it. But what they do, they train across the board.
Correct.
They address it across the board. But at first, they had to admit it. And the police can't be afraid to admit that they're not perfect.
Right.
You know, and that they have their imperfect people that are with their divisions. But once you address it, and you across the board, you know, start some sensitivity training, start some more awareness training. So, you know, maybe some people are aware of how they are.
That's correct.
You know, there are some people who may come to a district that's maybe all black and they've never been around black people before, and there's this subliminal thing in the back of their mind that this particular demographic is a threat.
Right.
You have to teach them that it's not. They're not just going to get there, you know, just through their police training with their learning tactics. You have to, you know, take time, take a break, and say, hey, look. You protect all citizens equally. You know, you encounter them equally, but you can't be overly aggressive to this population based on what your individual thoughts are. When you put on a uniform, just like when I put on the uniform, I, you know, took an oath, you know, for every American citizen and the citizens abroad, regardless of what they look like, what they speak, or how they feel about me.
Right.
And I think the police department needs to get, you know, for those that are not doing it, they need to teach that same mentality across the board.
Right. Education is always go back to education. Because from what we all know that racism is not something we were born with, it's what we were taught and conditioned. So we got to ask America, how do we uncondition our past? How do we educate each other to learn to embracing each another, and then teach our future generation to live life in harmony together?
Yes, I totally agree. I mean, even though back in, like I told you about the March on Washington, and I want to share some pictures back from the march back then, you had we talked about a lot of issues. They had a lot of forums and stuff like that. I think we need to have a lot of that going on so we can educate, so we don't have this situation, or it kind of like stops all the violence in the streets.
Right.
Yeah, we have to educate, and educate is the key.
It's definitely the key, and the more, like I said, you have to get a consortium and you have to collaborate across the board so everybody's speaking the same language and everybody's, you know, doing action and not just speaking. And I think for a lot of us, you have a lot of people who go on the news and things and they just you know, talk from their perspective and how they see it.
Correct.
You know, and the news isn't the gospel; it's an outlet.
That's right.
You know, so you have to take that conversation out of the news studio and back into the communities and practice what you're preaching, because that's what it's going to take.
So we had the march there.
So is that one of the marches that you went to?
This is the march before, and I'm showing the pictures from back then. I mean, they need something you could see, you know, Martin Luther King walking and trying to educate and talk, and even Stevie Wonder back in, you know, talks about it as well.
Wow, that's when she was little.
And so he was singing. Yeah. Well, this is when this was taking place. I just wanted to share those pictures briefly. I think they just need to come together and try to, you know, love each other and embrace each other and just educate our young men, especially because I have 2 young men, so I understand. But we have to worry about our daughters too, that's not the men's. Yeah, so of course. But anyway, so we really appreciate you coming out and talking a little bit about what you're doing and moving forward on this. So we're gonna. You
Yeah,
have an,
I
wanna
like to
mention?
share a little bit about when is the next Miss Veteran America competition.
Right.
Okay. So this is our 5th year anniversary, and so we have to, as we say, we have to do it big this year.
Oh yes,
Right.
of course.
So it's going to be at the Shakespeare Theater. So this
Oh
is
wow.
25 women
Wow.
veterans representing, various military services, ranks and generations, and coming together for a common cause again, which is to end homelessness among women veterans. So
That's
I'm excited
awesome.
about that.
Wow,
Wow.
look at that.
That's
Wow.
exciting.
So we're just gonna show some other photos and we'll come back to it as well.
Okay.
If we can show a video, how about that? I was with Miss Ethiopia,
Oh
and
wow.
she actually
Hmm.
won. So we have a little video clip of them dancing, and it was actually beautiful. This was last Sunday. You
Yes,
didn't
I
make
know.
it.
I was a
Oh
different
my
side of the
goodness.
town, but I know you represent.
Oh, I represented. Yeah, that's video too. The
Hmm.
Ethiopia. I mean, they were doing a little dancing as well. I could do that. What do you
The
think?
shoulder, that's not
That's I can't dance to save my
That's
life.
some serious exercise right there. Oh my goodness. But anyway, that was their first annual Miss Ethiopia USA pageant 2016. We want to congratulate her. I know there's lots of Miss Ethiopias. They all win the crown. I mean, how many do they have?
good question.
But anyway, it's very political, so I'm not going to get involved in it. But we want to congratulate her because she did she did a wonderful job in representing Ethiopia. So we want to give a shout out to her for actually winning. But as you can see, they had a lot going on that day, and I actually showed up.
You're beautiful. I am.
And I
You
stayed there. I was tired.
I am absolutely.
But as you can see, the
compliment you
crown,
for that.
everything, and then we had some other first runners up for different areas and stuff. And so we want to give a shout out to all of them because they actually came in there and represented.
You know, and it's not easy to go through the competition like that.
No, it's not because actually some sang, some danced, some actually one did a poem, and I don't know how you say the word or how do you in her language, she did the poem in her language. I don't understand what she said, and they did not put it back to English. I couldn't tell you what she said, but everybody did clap, and I'm sure it was nice. And the fashion itself, I mean, it was beautiful. But you'll have to check it out on my website to actually see it at patriciamcdougallphotos.com, and you'll be able to see all the pictures and the videos from that event because it was definitely amazing.
Wow.
And they represented. So whatever many they have Miss Ethiopias of 2016, we give a shout out to all of them. You know, these beauty pageants are amazing. What do you think about these beauty pageants?
Because you know you host Miss Veteran.
Well, Miss
Oh,
America,
yeah, she won Miss Veteran. So what
well,
do you
Miss Veteran
think?
America is a competition. It's not a beauty pageant. So we don't have like height, weight restrictions. We don't have age restrictions. You can be
Okay.
married. You can have kids. All we require is that you serve your country. So we're a little bit different realm of when it comes to those type of competitions. We do get, dressed up and wear like evening gowns and such. But it's not purely based on beauty because I think any woman that's willing to raise her right hand and serve her country is a beautiful woman. But
That's
of course, I'm
exactly
biased because I
amazing.
serve. So,
Amazing.
So
but I mean,
look at that,
whatever
yeah.
people do to, gather and enjoy each other and embrace a certain or a common cause, it's always a beautiful thing, regardless of how you do it. So, it ain't my thing, but just because it's not my thing doesn't mean it's not a beautiful thing.
Right,
So I can,
right.
the Miss USA who won this year is a African American soldier.
Absolutely.
So
And she's
again,
a darling.
Yeah, I don't know her personally. Hopefully, I'll meet her one day. But again, it regardless of what you do, long as it's positive, it's uplifting, I support
Right.
it, whether it's my thing or not. We all have different ways that we communicate, with different ways that we bond and get together, and that's okay. But just because it ain't your thing doesn't
Right.
mean you have to say something negative against
And you,
it.
Right,
that's
exactly,
something that we have learned
yeah.
a lot because we have quite a few of pageant beautiful lady come
Oh,
to
we
our
have
show.
every week there's
and
a new
so
one,
many
right?
of them have amazing platform.
Yeah.
And that pretty much something that
Right.
drive and motivate them to, some of them that I talk to personally, to compete on the pageant because it's their passion to really motivate their platform to help either in the city use what do you call it, youth program. One of
Right.
Miss International came on, and survive the cancer, and so many platforms that is empower community. So I give them shout out for compliment for doing such a good
I mean,
work.
just to get up there, right? But it was interesting because, they asked you some questions, right? And so they actually gave them like 3 questions and they were going to pick the ones. So they already knew what they were going to say,
Okay.
right? So, I mean, it was interesting to hear them answer and they had to think about it. Or maybe they were just pretending. But their questions and their answers was awesome because they asked the right questions and they made the right answer to, what they were talking about. So it was very interesting. And I enjoyed it. I mean, we didn't leave there till like almost 11 o'clock at night. Then they had a party. I couldn't stay for that. Oh, my goodness, no. It's been a bit much. But I'm sure there was a lot of shaking of the shoulders and doing all that, right?
I'm at the age now, if it's something's going to go till 11 midnight, you have to let me know in the daytime so I can get a nap. I can't roll like I used to when I was in my 20s and I could just stay up and stay out all night,
Isn't that amazing?
I got to get re-energized.
Yeah, hey, I need energy right now.
And I know I heard you have a reunion this week with your family, Pat.
No, that's not my family. It was another family. Actually, they're supposed to be
Okay.
coming into the show. We have 3 of them, and we wanted to let them talk about what they have. Everybody has a story, and everybody
Okay.
wants to talk a little bit about it. So I don't really want to talk them up until they actually come into here. But they will be coming and talking about things that are going on, and it's pertaining to the military. So I would like for them to give a little platform on that as well, right? But did you guys go down the mall for the 4th of July?
No, I avoid DC like the plague. Like, I live out in Northern Virginia, out towards Haymarket and Wine Country. I don't come to DC unless I have to. I just can't. I can't deal with the traffic. I just can't do it.
Well, we have some pictures from the 4th of July.
You did go,
show
didn't
them.
you?
I did go.
But I saw it on TV.
You did?
So.
It was raining. It was messy, but I just
Yeah.
drove right in and parked in the Ronald Reagan building, and I was good. And then, my little few dollars to go over there and park. And by the time I got there, it was 9 o'clock, and there was some beautiful music down the mall.
Really?
And then it wasn't raining, and then we had the fireworks, and you could see Leah and her little dog and my little grandson.
Wonderful.
And there
He's
was a lot of
adorable.
people, and look at the colors in the sky. Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful.
Yeah, I had to show that, and of course you had your military out in force. They were out there, and then they had some music, and that was nice as well. That's not a good video, a photo of it, but pretty much everybody out that day had a wonderful time, and tried to enjoy themselves while they were out and about. And we do have a video, but they were playing so much music, and I didn't want to play too much of the music because it took away from the noise of the fireworks, and I really wanted to show the fireworks, but I was so close to the music, you heard it, but it was just loud.
Right.
Yeah. So I just started taking pictures. As you could see, the fireworks in the background. It was boom, 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 but there was a lot of music going on at the same time, so it was really nice. We had a lot. As you can see, it was nice.
It was nice.
Yeah, so I don't know. You watched it
raining.
from? No, it was raining a little bit, but
Right.
not when they had the fireworks. As you can clearly see, they lit up the skies
That's my
of
face right
DC. It was nice. But Leah was like, "It's not coming at me." I'm like, "If that ain't coming at you, what are you talking about?" She wanted to be right up on it, right?
Right.
But as you can clearly see, it was truly beautiful, and to be down on the mall to experience it. If it was not raining, it would have been too many people for me to actually go down there. So I liked that it was raining and there wasn't a lot of people. It wasn't even that crowded. As you can see, the crowd, it wasn't a lot. But
that's gorgeous.
Isn't that nice? And we were there with music playing. In the background, they had that band. I showed you the picture, and so they were there doing their thing. As you can clearly see, they were having a wonderful time, and that was on the mall.
That is wonderful. I was.
And that's a way to celebrate, as you can see, right? You see, they were having a good time, right? Yeah, they was having fun.
No
And look
way.
at my little ones. They had these little light swords and stuff. They were having fun.
Everybody's there, different races, different
Yeah.
backgrounds. Everybody's just together, just having a good time.
And exactly, that's the
You know,
point. Right.
And that's what it's all about. And that's what we want to get to as a nation. To everybody to just embrace each other, their differences, and just come together collectively and just have a good time and enjoy each other for who we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You're correct
stop
on
all
that.
this foolishness that's going on. We have to really stop it and come together. Truly.
Yeah, it's counterproductive. For everyone who has died for the rights for freedom.
Gosh,
black and
yes.
white and all other races. We've had all different people serve in the military that have all
Nationality.
Yeah, of everything that are
Right.
just dying just to have peace and have freedom. So
Right.
people say we need prayer. Yeah, we need peace too. So we need both of them.
Absolutely. One cannot be out without the other. And as an immigrant myself, I came here. America is a great country. You were born and raised here and have not traveled abroad. You don't realize how blessed that we are to be in America, to be able to do think freely in terms of and speak freely in terms of your religion,
Right.
your freedom of speech as a woman, to be able to do live and work in the career.
Wear what you want to
Right.
wear.
Yes.
Yeah,
How
some
amazing,
places that's punishable by death.
Absolutely.
So,
Right.
yeah.
And in other countries, you cannot just love anybody you wish to love.
That's
There
right.
are
That's right.
arranged marriage. If you don't listen to the family or you don't follow to the arranged marriage, you could be killed,
That's right.
stoned to death,
That's
or
right.
burned to death. And it still exists. I was reading on Wall Street a couple weeks ago, and that's what happened in India. It's heartbroken.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So this is a time for us to embrace each other and unite it together.
Right. Right.
I agree.
I totally agree with that.
Is that more fun to have different diversity? Different
Yes.
color?
It is.
It is?
I mean, I have friends that are from all different types of the spectrum. So when I was going through my Army ROTC program, I had a friend. Her name was Andrea, but we call each other by our last name. She was Martinez.
Right.
So she invites me over to her little cousin's Danny's birthday party, and she gives me a slice of the cake, and I'm like, it's wet. I'm like, this cake isn't done.
Right.
And I'm whispering it to her. She was like, you're dumb. That's tres leche cake. It's supposed to be a milk cake. So
My favorite.
I would have never known that. So now she's always teasing me about it. I would always go to her house. Her mother would make the carne asada de mole. But, you know, that's not something that we do as a, you know, African-American community.
Right.
We have different dishes in soul food. But if we don't, you know, interact with different people, different races, then we don't know, we can't learn about different cultures.
Absolutely.
Which is absolutely important. I enjoy, you know, eating other people's food and
You know, isn't it wonderful?
and observing, you know, observing different religions. Like I have friends that do Lent.
Right.
I'm not Catholic, but I'll give up something
That's
just to
right.
observe with
That's
them.
right.
I was at an event and none of the people that were eating or drinking because it was Lent. So I just, you know what? I was like, I love wine. People know I love wine.
Right,
And I was like, you know what?
right.
If y'all not drinking, I'm not going to drink either because I want to be
Respect.
respectful
Right,
of
that's
you.
right,
And
that's
there's nothing
right,
wrong with that.
right,
And it hurt me
right.
nothing not to drink wine for 2 hours.
Right, and you can have fun without alcohol.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
so-
You definitely can.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we here in Washington D.C., the capital of USA, we have so many embassies from different countries. And I'm currently vice president of Thai Alliance in America. I have to give compliment to Loyal Thai Embassy because they do a lot of community outreach. You know, they bring culture, dances, and food. I believe that last year they adopted DC Elementary School as a first embassy.
Wow.
That did that, and
That's cool.
they brought in food to the school, and then they bring the kids to the embassy, and they taught them how to do Thai boxing, watching the Thai performance. So the kid, you know, this is something new for them, and they all loved it. So diversity, you know, experience something different than normal. I think that is a good thing, isn't it?
It's a beautiful thing, and it's good to be different. I think that's why, you know, you were talking about our girls earlier. They have so many issues because one body type is portrayed and one this is portrayed, and they feel awkward within their skin to the point where you have to create dolls to make girls feel accepted.
It's
Right,
amazing.
right.
You know, I'm like, no, you don't need a doll to be accepted. We just need to teach them how to accept their own, you know, unique bodies, you know, unique personalities,
Right.
and them for who they are, and not you don't
Right.
have to identify with who's on TV
Correct.
and who's doing this and that. That has nothing to do with you as an individual.
Right.
So we need to
You know,
promote more of that.
You brought up a very excellent point because we need to see more of different nationality out in the media. So therefore, our youth can see that, oh, is that somebody that look like me out there on TV and living the life that I wish I could live? That's a role model for them. More
Right.
African American, more Hispanic American, more Asian American. The role that should be portrayed in such a positive image. That's something that I think we should promote
and
more.
also, you know, just because there's a white woman on TV doesn't mean we don't have anything in common.
That's
Right.
right.
You know,
That's
so
the
we have to
truth
teach them. So
also.
although we need to see more, you know, positive role models across the spectrum,
Correct.
we can
Correct.
also learn from people that are positive role models that don't particularly look like us or grew up the way that we did.
Right, right.
for this.
Because at the end, when you look at it, I'm not very religious, but I'm more spiritual. I always believe that if God created us to His image, so therefore each of us have the gift that He wants us to live on this earth, isn't it? And I went to one workshop called the Workshop. Have you been to one of those?
Yes.
The scientific
yes,
workshop, right?
Yes.
So I saw one of the exhibit. They took away the skin. When we take out the skin, guess what? We all look the same. What make us
That's
different?
exactly right. The
What
color.
make us
Are you talking
different
about the bodies
is our
exhibit, the
integrity.
one where they're showing just like their muscles and things like
Yes,
that? Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah. That really is like make me think a lot that why is it that we don't like each other or have certain condition, a certain judgmental towards
As you said, it's
the
taught.
skin
It's
color.
a taught behavior.
That's correct. So that's correct. So you know, things like that really make you think, isn't it?
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Was
So
that-
do you have somebody calling in?
Yeah, Dr. DK wanted to call in, so I don't know if that's possible, but we're going to try to get him on the line. He just called, and he wanted to talk about his event he has coming up. So let's see if we can get him on the line. Sorry about that. Dr. DK, hold on, okay? We're just going to put you on the speaker on here. Go ahead, Dr. DK.
Okay, am I on the air right now?
Hold
Yes.
on, we're trying.
Well, he can hear him through that.
Say it
Are
again.
you able to see everything on your email?
No, I can't do anything. Just tell us about the program, please.
Okay, so we are having a week of prophetic revival. and we have one of the most accurate prophets in the United States of America, and that's Prophet Marcus Thomas. He mostly speaks for people like Bishop Noel Jones, T.D. Jakes, Clifford Dollar, and of course the largest churches in the African continent. The revival is going to be at the Agape Church in Southeast D.C. on 14th Street, 2002 14th Street Southeast, where Pastor Willie Thompson's church, first church was. That's called the Agape Church in Southeast D.C.
Right.
And I am Dr. DK, the president of the Caribbean and African Conference. I'm hosting this. If you need to hear a word from the Lord, prophetic insight, direction for your business, your family, you need healing, going through sicknesses in the body, facing oppression spiritually, whether it's witchcraft or anything, you have crossroads in your life is stagnated and you need elevation, spiritual elevation and breakthrough, then this event is the event for you. This is your season of change, your season of transformation, your season to move to the next level of the destiny that God has opened up for you. So if you're here and you're listening to me on the ear right now, and you're not happy with where you are in life, you're not happy with your finances, you don't like the look of your credit card, you're getting letters from the creditors. It's time for your creditors to become your borrowers. They need to borrow from you. The Bible said that you're the head and not the tail. So please put your clothes on right now. We begin 6 p.m. this evening, and begin to put your GPS to 2002 14th Street Southeast DC. You will not regret this trip. We're going to be doing it all week.
DK talking. That's
all
right.
all week long, but begin and get the blessing tonight.
Dr.
Anything else you
DK.
need to hear from me?
Yes. Can you just tell them about that award you just received? Can you tell us what's showing the picture?
Oh, yes. I received an award from
Generation 12.
Reformers.
Yes.
The Generation 42 Reformers.
Yes.
They host international prayers with the Congress and praying for all the nations of the world. And I received the award for my achievement in the African and the Caribbean community. And I'm looking forward to receive another award from the Jamaican community in New York City on August 13th. And I just really want to thank everyone for supporting the African Caribbean International Awards Gala, where all these distinguished leaders from all over the world came and received their award. Is there any other questions?
No, Dr. DK, we thank you very much for being on. We look forward to talking
and
to you
we're
later.
asking everybody, whether you are a diplomat, a president, an educator, a nurse, a doctor.
Thank you,
need
Doctor.
a change in your life. You need a change. Whoever you are, you need a change. You need to be elevated.
Okay.
Come for spiritual elevation tonight, okay?
Thank you,
God
Dr.
bless you,
DK.
and see you there in Southeast DC.
Thank you.
Southeast is the destiny of Southeast is going to change tonight.
All right.
The name and reputation of Southeast is going to change tonight.
Thank you.
Because of what God is going to be doing over there.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us.
And you know,
All right, well, that was Dr. DK. He has a lot to say.
He's passionate.
Yes,
passionate,
yes,
you know,
yes. She's
and-
passionate. We wanted to give a shout out, and I
Absolutely.
promised him I would talk a little bit about it, but no other than Dr. DK to tell you what's going on, and so we wanted to share his message.
That's a
and to let
positive
him know.
movement.
Isn't that something?
That's
Because
a
we need
positive
prayer right now for all that's going on.
Yes,
And
we
so if you
do.
have time to come out and be a part of that, that would be awesome. And just so we know, our second guest was, they're still coming according to this phone. And so hopefully they'll get here before the show is over, right? So we'll want to give a shout out to them, and hopefully they're not stuck in traffic. And that's the reason why I left early, to make sure that I'm here, right?
Right.
But you know, DC traffic sometimes is unpredictable.
Yes.
It's unpredictable. One minute is the road could be free, but then president could be travel pass by and then you got blocked.
Or Olivia Pope. Or Olivia Pope could be in town. You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah, 'cause
So what did you think? What did you think of the President Obama's speech after all the stuff that went on?
You know, I loved it. You know, it was very. It was a speech that he spoke to everybody.
Right,
You know, he didn't
right.
He didn't speak to one side of the coin. You know, and he was like, you know, we got work to do on both sides of the house.
Absolutely.
You know, and I appreciate him. You know, because the thing is, like, President Obama is not Black America's president. President Obama is America's president.
I love
So
that.
every
I
time
love
something happens
that.
in the black community, he's not supposed to get on Air Force One and go where you live at.
No, that's right.
You know,
right.
and so he gets so much criticism about that. And it's like, that's not his job. That's why you have community leaders and you have mayors and you have senators and congressmen that represent these states. They need to be getting on their planes and going back to their communities and doing something.
That's
he can't
right.
be everything to all people because he represents all of us as one united front.
Right,
Very
because they get
true.
upset when he doesn't like. Okay, you have something to say. They'll be like, "It's your fault." What do you mean it's your fault? It's not his fault. I mean, come on, really? It's terrible.
You know,
that's a burden that they put on him.
and
They
that's-
tried to put on him.
Right, and I think that's something that we as an adult, I think we should come together and realize that when something happen, it's happened. You don't have to blame somebody
control.
for it to happen. You can control a certain thing that is happening.
Right.
But what we can do is how do we react towards it?
Right.
That we can control
Correct.
Yeah,
in
you
such
have
a
to
way
do-
of more loving, more kind.
Yeah, you have to do what you can where you are.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's the biggest thing. And I said, you know, what if we all did just what we could? And we not. A lot of us complain and a lot of us deflect and we blame. But it's like, what are you doing? Are you out there doing peaceful protests? Are you writing your congressmen and your senators? Are you talking
That's
to
exactly right.
talking
Bring
to
it
your
to
your
the
children
hill.
about, you know,
Right.
violence or being involved in their life? Like, I was very involved. I was a single mother with my oldest son until I met my husband at 14. But I knew if my kid was on drugs or not. I knew the kids that he hang out with. He didn't have no privacy.
Right.
I grew up with my grandmother. You want privacy? She'll take your door off the hinges.
Oh, I did that.
You know?
I'm
So
like, there's no
again,
door, there's no
are
lock
you-
on
you
your
know,
bathroom.
So in addition to policing the police, you got to police your children too.
Absolutely.
You know, and you teach them young, and you have to support them. You know, you have so many people. You know, my mother is my best friend. I am not my son's friend. I'm not the little one's friend either because he's
Right.
mean to me, especially.
Right.
But you are supposed to parent them. And also being a single mother, they say, you know, what was it like raising your son as a single mother? I didn't raise my son as a single mother. I raised him as his parent.
That's
Correct.
exactly
You know,
right.
so stop focusing on what you don't have and use what you have.
Right, right. And you want
Yeah.
him to be the best man, the best human
Right.
that he can be as he, you know. he
And you
live
can
his
teach that in lieu
life.
of having a man around you. And I can't, you know, you can teach him how to be a respectable, you know, person. You know, my son said the most profound thing to me, you know, once he got to be an adult. And I said, you know what, did you miss not having your father around? And he said, Mom, how can you miss something that you
don't
never
have.
had?
That's right.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. I
You know, and
totally
I know that
agree.
I raised him well, but you know, like he wasn't coming in at midnight, 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, and like if he didn't have friends, if I didn't know their parents, so we also have a level of involvement that we have to do in our own home before we relating on the community to raise and police our children. It starts in the house.
It starts in
Absolutely.
the house. That's right. You got to train them. And I'm with you about the door off the hinges. I don't even have locks on the
Yeah, I
on the
got your
bathroom
privacy,
door,
homie.
right?
I got your privacy.
And-
Yeah,
right.
no, I pay the bills in here, so all these doors are my doors. So.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a blessing for your children. I have to say that because of you give them the right guidance. Because they don't
Right,
know.
right.
They think they know a lot. Don't they?
And if you don't teach them, the streets will.
Oh, that's it.
You better believe
That's a
that.
wise
Right. Or
answer
somebody
right there.
else's mother will, or somebody will, and it's not always the best.
Yeah.
Sometimes, right? So you have to just, all you could do is just teach them the right way,
Yes.
and you know that, and teach them to be safe. Because at this time in the day, you know, no telling, and always, you know, give them a hug because you
Yes.
never know what's going on in their lives.
And you just never know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you just never know what's next. You never know if today is gonna be our last day.
That's right.
So that's one thing
right.
that we all know for a fact that we right here, right now, have a conversation that lovely conversation, lady. Thank you. Very inspiring, very encouraging, you know. And
I feel like I should have sat in the middle to break up some of that color scheme. I feel like I feel like a
Oh, you matching the chair.
like a place right here,
Well,
like
I
yeah, like
have my
black,
shirt,
black, and I'm just
yeah.
lit
Well,
up like
that?
I'm lit up like fireworks over here. So I'm gonna sit in the
Well, I
middle
have
the
to
next
bring my
time.
other
you
shirt.
have to stand up.
I don't know. Let's see it.
Let's see Patrick real quick.
I am what?
I'm
Fabulous.
Hey, I gotta claim it because if not, who's gonna claim it for me, right?
Exactly. You know, I was
right.
watching the discussion the other day, and they talk about that. How often, when somebody asks you, name the most beautiful thing in the world,
Right.
do you ever name yourself? Most likely we don't as a woman.
No,
we name
we don't.
everything
That's
else
right.
under the sky.
Sorry.
But
Dropped the ring.
yourself, that
Right.
you are the one that your father, your mother created. You know, you're more beautiful for them. So that's something that we don't really talk about that.
Right.
And I think younger generation also learn from what we do, not what we say to them sometimes. It's how we do things. So I love your shirt.
Well, yeah, I love my shirt too. I wasn't supposed to wear the shirt today. I have my other shirt in the car.
Yes.
So, but hey, I'm gonna claim it. I am beautiful. How about that?
Yes,
Right.
Yes, you are
Yeah,
beautiful.
if I don't claim it, who's gonna
I
say it
also-
for me?
And it's also good for women to compliment other women, because I
That's
always
right.
say,
Yeah.
girls emulate what they see, and mean girls come from mean women. So we continue to teach them to tell your friend that she's beautiful, or compliment a stranger, or learn, meet a new girl that you don't know that doesn't look like you, and embrace her.
Right.
It starts when they're little, so we need to
Yes.
teach them that.
Yeah, you have to, because if not, who's gonna show them, right?
Yeah, and you never know also, one smile that you did to a stranger that could save their life. One kind word that you say to her could empower her to realize that I'm not so bad.
Right, and you just never know what someone's going through. So always
so
always
true.
err on the side of kindness. And sometimes people shy away from you because of how they've been treated.
Right.
But just continue to be kind to them, and they'll come around, because you just never know what somebody's going through on a daily basis. And that one act of kindness may just change their whole trajectory toward a positive nature.
That's exactly right. That's
Especially if they
right.
lost their loved
Keep
one.
them. That's right. You gotta. Keep
that's
them
the hardest
lifted
thing.
and motivated. I was looking for a little fly I had here, but I
Oh,
know
you
myself
did?
down here. It's all good.
So what's the fly about?
Well, I just well, you were asking about the flyer. I'm looking for the flyer, right? Well, look at that. See, because my
So you
guests
follow
didn't
it?
come, I just wanted to mention it. I was hoping that they were going to be able to get here, so
Okay.
I just wanted to say a little something about who they are, because I will share their flyer on social media. Right? Her name is Joanne Johnson, and she was supposed to be in the house, and she is the president and founder of the LSJ Foundation for Lonnie Samuel Johnson, and he was in the Faro ship that went down. Are you familiar with that one? It was off the coast of Puerto Rico in the Bahamas, October 2nd of 2015, where 33 crew members died. And they're going to have a fundraiser. It's going to be on September 23rd at the Hyatt Regency. And so more information to follow. T.D. Jakes is going to be one of their special guests.
Oh, wow.
So I just wanted to mention that as well. And Tori was supposed to join us as well, so I'm not sure if they'll be able to make it, but I wanted to give a shout out because they was on the bus with me touring DC, and we had a fabulous time. We were all over the place.
Wonderful. Well, that's a wonderful cause. I hope everybody spread the word.
Oh, so everybody
and come out and
spreads it,
support.
yeah. Because they don't have any things that or fundraisers, or not just fundraisers, or anything that happens regarding the sea. Like you never hear about a boat capsizing, and then somebody wants to bring awareness to why it capsized. I mean, there was a reason why there was too many people on the ship, and the ship was old. You didn't hear about that
I did
one?
not know about that.
Yeah,
one.
because people don't really talk about it. So that's why it was very important for her to come into the studio today to talk about that. But that's okay. When she gets back home, she's from Jacksonville, I think that's what she said. She can actually talk a little bit more about it, and maybe she can call in next week on the
Well, I thank you
show.
for that, because you're right. If people don't know about it, then they can't support it. And I always say, awareness is always the first step towards change.
That's so true.
Before I started working with homeless women veterans, there was not a national conversation started, and through my work in advocacy and partners in networks, we were able to, now more people know about it. And so this is how it starts, when you have people like you that are
bring it
able to give
up.
people a voice that can raise it, through these mechanisms for change and for support. So I thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you. Yeah. So
absolutely.
keep that date open and more to follow. And we'll talk about it. It's called the El Faro ship that went down in Puerto Rico and the Bahamas. And Clinton, I think, will be in the house as well for this event. So it's going to be very powerful. So and more information to follow, like I said. So I thank you.
We're going to be posting on your website.
Yeah,
social
it will be on
medias.
social media website, PatriciaMcDougallPhotos.com, Patricia McDougall, celebrity photographer on Facebook. Chintana will be posting it as well. Chintana, you want to tell them where you'll be posting it too?
I'll be delighted to post it on our empowerimagination.com. And also, we're going to be hosting a future event coming up before the year end.
Awesome,
Guess
awesome.
what it's called? The Kingmaker.
The Kingmaker,
The
boy.
Kingmaker.
The Kingmaker. What is that one about very briefly?
So empower imagination is what we empower innovator and support philanthropy.
Yes.
So we believe that in somebody's garage right now, there's a next Google, next Facebook.
Right.
And they cure for cancer, they cure for everything. So we're gonna bring some of these amazing innovators together in one day in the room and let them show us what have they been cooking in their garage.
Oh wow.
Well, look at that, man. I tell you, that's innovative, isn't
And
it?
you know you're a part of that. Both of you definitely have to be a part of this.
Well, we're excited about it, so we can't
Yes,
wait for her to have that
right.
date so we can get in the house.
So
with
check
that
out.
one.
We think we're gonna do is on November 21st of this year.
Okay.
And
did you
we
get
still
that?
we're still working on a few logistics.
Okay, well, we're excited. Well, I did see you on your online page, and she's actually she put some of our videos up there on your site, right? On what is it called? Imagination. It's Empower.
Imagination.
So we thank her for sharing that on her social media page and
Absolutely.
also on her live show, right? It's a show or, yeah. So that's awesome. We appreciate that. But anyway, Patricia McDougall on the scene, celebrity photographer, my co-host Chintana, and our special guest. We thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, ladies, for the opportunity.
You're awesome.
And
And look
where
at
can
that. You
they
got to stay
find
on the
you?
whole show.
Yes. Thank you for saying the whole
Excited,
show.
yeah.
And where can they find you, Jazz?
Well, for the support Final Salute Inc., you can go to our website, www.finalsaluteinc.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, as well as MissFederalAmerica.org, and they're also on Facebook, Twitter, and now Instagram.
Well,
So
thank you
thanks.
so much for
Fantastic.
chiming in. Patricia McDougall, celebrity photographer on the scene. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay amazing, you out there.
Yes.
Listen up, we're looking for a crush. If you're with me, let me see your hands. Stand up and salute. Get your killer heels, sneakers, pumps, lace up your boots. Representing all the women. Salute, salute. Attention, attention, attention. Representing all the women. Salute, sisters, we are everywhere. Warriors, your country needs you. If you're ready, ladies, better keep steady, ready, aim, shoot. Ammunition on a mission, and we'll hit you with the truth. Divas, queens, we don't need no man. Sisters, we are everywhere. Warriors, your country needs you. If you're ready, ladies, better keep steady, ready, aim, shoot. Don't need ammunition on a mission, and we'll hit you with the truth. Representing all the women, salute, salute.